Want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles at Great Millstone. Shalom to the elders and bishops at Great Millstone. And shalom to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. And shalom to the 144,000. And shalom to the 1/3. And shalom to all the believers. Shalom. It was a video I was watching yesterday with Donald Trump. And he was doing a video, Shalakia, early morning, excuse me. He was talking about how you're going to start doing things. And he even mentioned that they ain't seen him in a few days, and they were saying they thought he was sick and all this nonsense and stuff like that. But he mentioned the stuff about Chicago. And he clearly said that most of the people that are committing the crimes are mostly black. He first said African American, then he said they're mostly black. So he put it out there. These are not my words. This is what he said. He said that they are mostly black. So there you have it. And then that shooting that happened over there in Chicago only intensified what's the reason for them to try to get in there. But see, the thing is, what a lot of people are not thinking about is that this crime been going on for years. And they never called in the National Guard. And even when he was in office the first time that they was crying, he didn't call them in then. He's only calling them in now because he know he got a short period of time. Like how I specified before and a lot of other brothers have specified before. He only has a short period of time. So he has to set up everything that he needs so things go his way, whether he stays in there or he doesn't stay in there. This is an agenda for him and the people that follow him to set up the order that wants to benefit them. And what people are going to find out, even the ones that voted for him, there are of a different ethnic background, are going to find out that he's not even doing stuff for y'all. It's not every time they do stuff is to benefit the rich and not benefit those that are less than that, and those that are non-Edomites. The people have to realize this is an evil race. It's just like the TV show V, if anyone can remember that from the 80s. They came to the earth saying all this good stuff, but then when they found out they was a reptilian race, that's when they tried to get rid of them and try to stop them. Well, that's like what's going on now. They're setting up everything. They're setting up everything, and they're coming. So if you are in any of the know, you should already have in mind what they plan on doing. And these people have no good intentions. Once they set up all the military at these key points, how they want, which is going to happen very soon. And even if they have to cause a few false flags, they're going to do it. They don't care if they cause a false flag. And their mind is that they have to get this stuff set up. And that's how they feel. They have to get it set up so that they can do what they want, what's on their agenda. But once they get Chicago, New York, California, DC, and they're going to get certain parts of Texas too. They're going to get that. They're going to get whatever they want so that they can set up their military to show their strength. And they also want to show other countries like, hey, Trump already said, he says, when I say something, I want them to respect me like how they do to those other leaders in their countries. So this is a real ego trip for Mr. Trump. Because he want to show that he has the power. That he can do what he wants. But what people have to understand, it's the Heavenly Father that put him in control. People think, oh, it's because of the vote. It has nothing to do with the vote. It's the Heavenly Father that has the control. He's going to build Trump up to be strong and to look strong, and then he's going to tear him down, just like how he did the Pharaoh in Egypt. He brought him up to be strong and high, and then what did he do? He tore them down. And all those that was aside him, that had favor with the Pharaoh. His magic practicing priests, his soldiers, they tore all of them down along with the Pharaoh. And that's how it's going to be with Trump. All his cabinet members and people like that are egging him on and supporting him. His vice presidents, his cabinets of people, his soldiers, his military, all those people are going to be brought high. And then they're going to be brought very, very low. Because they can't keep going on suppressing the people of Israel. And they can't keep oppressing all the nations of the world. And then you would think with the money that they're spending, that they'll be using this money to clean up. Now, he has some of the soldiers down in D.C. cleaning up and trying to make stuff look beautified and stuff like that. But the thing is, that's still not going to solve anything. He still didn't talk about how he going to feed people, because he can't. He only want to help out a certain particular people. And this is why he has to be brought low. Because his intentions is not straight. It's crooked. And people that support him is crooked as well. And the thing is, behind closed doors, they get a kick out of all the evil that they do. And they will act like they don't, but they do. These politicians and Trump, they're nothing but evil people. And we see how the violence is going down. I mean, and these 2/3 are going to be killed in mass amount of numbers and jail. And then once they get through with them and they feel like their belly has been filled with the 2/3, then they're going to try to come to us. So we're waiting on that as well. So it's everything is lining up into prophecy. And when this division happens, that's when these race wars are going to get out of control. Because not everybody's going to line with Trump, as you're already seeing. The governor of Chicago is not feeling him. The governor of Baltimore is not feeling him. They're not. And he's saying people in Chicago are like, can you please send them? Specifying that the black people are acting up. It's just like C-19. When that was going on, they had a propaganda saying it was only a certain type of people that were exposed to it. And I remember that. Every time I was walking down the street, their mask was off. As soon as they walked towards me, they were scrambling to put on their mask. And sometimes you see them walk across the street because that's the propaganda that they put out there. And we already knew what the propaganda was about because it was some Jake that was not even affected. So it shows you what they want to do and how they're doing. So you have to really have spiritual eyes to see what's going on. And some people just don't have that spiritual eye. They really just don't have it. But only those who are a great millstone are going to see it. Those that the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, has allowed those to see it. Because not everyone's going to see it. Not everyone's going to understand. They're going to think that, what you're saying is not making sense. And that's the problem that people are going to have that don't know. So when you're trying to tell non-believers, they're going to think that you're talking some sideways stuff. And you gotta also accept it yourself. When you talk to these non-believers, they're just not going to know. And by them they're not going to know, you can't really waste too much time. You just got to be like, hey, listen, this is what's happening, this is what's going on. And if they're like, well, nah, that's not it, you just got to be like, okay, all right, well, I'm just telling you, say it like that and move on. But when a lot of that stuff comes to fore, some of them are either going to be like the guy in the video saying, hey, y'all was telling the truth all along. Or they're going to say, well, you just happen to be lucky. You got people like that too. And they're not saying it to be ignorant, but I mean, well, they are being ignorant, but they're just saying it because they're like, some people really feel that way. Hey, you just happen to be right this time. Oh, you just happen to be right that time again. There's some people that's how they literally think. And you can't change them. But it's the Father that reveals the truth to them. Father Yahweh. Through Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We have to remember that. So if he's not revealing it to them, then they just don't know. And they're going to stay that way until death. Until death reigns upon them. And that's just how it's going to be. Can't change it. Just can't change it. Yeah, so people gonna end up seeing what's really going on. And I've been forewarning people about these food shortages that's gonna happen. And a lot of people, man, when you tell them, they look at you. For those that don't believe, they just really think that this stuff is not coming in their lifetime. And I'm like, how can you think something like that? Look how many of the Northern Kingdom that they have deported. They deported so much of them. And then you also gotta think, who's gonna also help these farmers with this cattle? And then it was like 3 years ago, a lot of the cattle just died. I mean, it was hundreds of them that died. So that was pestilence, man. So it's like people think the vegetables and the fruit and the meat are just never going to stop. They think it's just going to keep going, and that's it. And they're going to be sadly mistaken. It's been several times when stuff got crazy that people went into the store and then there was no food on the shelves. And we already know how some people get. They do this panic buying. That when they run into the store, they buy up everything. Which is understandable. But what are you going to do when the lights turn off? When stuff gets so bad that these people that work at these water plants, you know, and the electric goes off. Unless you have some type of generator, all your food in the home is going to go bad. I mean, even if you have a deep freezer, that food is going to stay basically cold for about a week. And that's really depending on what you put in there. Because if you put meats in there, it might stay a little bit longer, and if you keep it closed. So a lot of people gotta think about that. You can buy all the meat in the world. If you ain't got no generator or some means to keeps that stuff cool, all that meat gonna go bad. So I remember when that happened to me years ago. We had a bad storm, and man, a lot of my food just went bad. I mean, we was out of electric for about a week, and to not have some of the food go bad, we were just cooking the food and eating it. But it was like, it got to a point like, man, there's nothing we could do. And at that time, I was living in an apartment. So it didn't make no difference. But when you live in a house, it's a little bit easier because you can just hook up a generator and hook your refrigerator up to it. But not everybody have it like that. But it's a good thing now they got these battery operated generators now. But then you gotta have a means to charge that up. Some of them got solar panels, so you can do that. So that's something you might want to invest in. But yeah, a lot of people think that the electric grid ain't gonna go down. And then some of this stuff is gonna be planned that they're gonna do. Think about it. By them bringing the death toll up to 2/3 down, don't think they're not thinking that. Cause they know some people on dialysis, and if they gotta get their blood clean, how they gonna do that if the machines ain't running? And then some people have diabetes. And if correct me if I'm wrong, if you're diabetic, I think you got to keep your insulin cool, refrigerated. So if that's not happening, then you're screwed with that. So man, these people are gonna always find some means or some way to start keeping that death toll climbing. And it's going to get to that point. So then you have so much stuff to worry about. People breaking into your homes. Then you got to worry about you might not have any electricity. So even if you do have security cameras, the security cameras are going to go down. So now you can't watch your house. And then the big one that's going to be, it's just like how it was in 9/11. When everybody was trying to use their cell phone, it was a network crash. So they say. Or they could have just switched it off. Or just jammed it. And then, how's that going to be? How's that really going to be, man? If these fools decide to cut the internet. It's not going to be good. Now you can't talk to your loved ones or try to make any plans because now communications has been cut off. It's like a war strategic plan. Cut off the electricity, cut off the communication, cut off the food. That's how it's going to be. But you first want to cut the people down because if you have all these people riding the streets, there's no way that the National Guard can take control of that. So what Trump and them are doing is killing people off. Once they kill the people off and get that number down, that helps. But then they gotta go further. They're like, all right, now we gotta take away their food. So then that's gonna work. And for those that have some saved up, are still gonna be living. So then they're gonna try to go further. All right, well, we did that. Well, let's cut off communication and cut off the electric. Now people are totally fucked. Now people can't communicate to their loved ones, and then it'll be hard for us to communicate with different people in different camps. How's that going to be done? Yeah, you could probably write letters and stuff like that. But look how long that's going to take. And then that's even going to affect the mail. And then soon the gas. People really got to see the writing on the wall, man. The place is done. And they're not going to allow it to keep going. They're just not. They're just gonna rip this place apart. And they're gonna keep it like that. That's the agenda. So with that, I want to say shalom to the elders and apostles, Great Millstone. Shalom to all the believers, 144,000, the hopeful elect. Shalom.